Hello Norway, my name is Jussi Lehtiniemi. We are here at the Energia offices in Tampere, Finland. And I'm the art director slash concept artist slash matte painter in our Sky. And we're going to take a look at George W. Bush, the American ship from the film, and see how it developed from the first sketch towards the final design. Here on the screen we have the really first sketch for George W. Bush. That was meant for us just to have something to talk about, just to have some idea, some design out there to be able to discuss what we want to have with the ship. And even though it turned out being something completely different in the end, one element that we had already in the first design is the ghost gun that we wanted to have in the ship. And that's, you can see here. The next stage, we started refining this, the design, just concepting different looks for the ship, different ideas, trying to find interesting forms, interesting ideas for the ship, how it could be. One element that we always wanted to have is the rotating section, which we have in all the later designs and in the final ship as well. There's the next one, refining, just coming up with different ideas. The next one. Then here we started refining the design, introducing different ideas, different elements. The next one is this. This is already looking a bit more like the final design. We have the same kind of general shape for the nose of the ship. We have the weapon base, they are close to this picture. We have attitude control thrusters all around the ship. We have the rotating section here. We have the Aegis point defense systems. They are these rectangular bits we have in the ship. And this picture, you can see that it's the same as the previous one, but the weapon base, here they are closed, and in this picture they are open. And we can see the ghost gun here again. That's almost exactly like it ended up being in the final design, even though this was done already back in 2008. The next stage is with some notes, explanations for the various parts of the ship. We have the rotating habitat, the close-in weapon system, housing, auxiliary thrusters, housing for the ghost gun, kinetic harpoon launch racks. As you can see, the previous one as well here. They ended up in the final design as well. The next stage, there's something like 2 or 3 years between this version and this one. And with this one we wanted to try something completely different from the previous ones. We wanted to tune down it to resemble more modern day space technology. And what's funny about this particular version is that this we ended up using as the British ship called Spitfire, and it's exactly the same as this, but we put the Union Jack here in the front hood just to emphasize that it's the British ship. The next one was done after this one, yet another version exploring different forms for the design and different ideas. This design we ended up using as the Canadian ship with some additional parts and some elements removed. This one we went completely wild again, tried something different, tried to find interesting look for the ship, something really unique. And at that point we wanted to have something really American in the ship, and we figured, well, the eagle, the stars and stripes, and some flames would do. And I'm glad we ended up removing those from the final design. Next version, this is already closing the final design. We have all the main elements here. The look of it is a bit too messy. For example, the front, we have the sensory unit for the ship exposed, And then when we go to the final design, you can see that it's pretty much the same as this one, but the sensor unit is covered with some additional plating here at the nose of the ship. And even though it's covered, I always thought that the sensor unit would be inside the nose housing as well, and there are only some small elements visible here. And here the weapon bays are closed, and in this view we have them open. And here you can see the same ghost guns that were already in the really early version. We have harpoon launch racks, solar panel arrays, we have the Aegis trusses protruding from the ship, and we have the nuclear pulse drive at the ass end of the ship. And here we have some quick side views just to establish the silhouette of the ship. And we can see the Aegis trusses protruding 3 directions to be able to have full coverage for the defense of the ship.